I saw the little post you put up. I'm going to go back to it. Okay, looks like we're going to be on. Yes. Yes, there we are. So let me
Cool.
tag you. Oops. Um, Here we are. Edit. Um, Edit. All right. There you are. Boom. You're tagged. Boom.
Okay.
Make sure it went through.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, yours is tagged. So let me just check YouTube and X real quick. Okay. Yeah, they're both good to go. All right. So yeah, we're back with a beautiful friend, beautiful sister. We've done a few shows together and a few other things, and I'm looking forward to this next hour and a half, whatever we do. Mary Beckman's in the house. Uh, it's always I think some people, you have like more matching frequencies than others, and it's not like a judgment. It's just the way that we're made up. And I like yours because the space is always sacred. There's always humor involved, and there's always gnosis, knowing, and the connectivity that an individual has and is able to share, because that's really the only code that's real is what you can share, right? At least as we're in these physical bodies, and that seems to be the difference of our journeys is the physicality in this case. So when we can share something openly in the physical with all the frequencies involved, it's a powerful thing. So and I know you personally, so I've sat in on a couple of your groups, and I've watched you sometimes when you're on social media, and I think the last one actually, it was very good. I didn't watch it all, but I was watching it live for a while. But throat chakra activation. But anyway, welcome to the show. Uh, Welcome to the sacred space. Thank you for coming in and sharing with us.
Well, thanks for having me. When I said that I would love to share, I
Mm,
said I wanted to share on the little death of August.
yeah.
And I agree that I've had the little death of August before myself, and probably during Lionsgate, but I can't recall what was going on then. I just know I harvested off a big piece of whatever. I knew it was coming. I knew it. I was getting the signs, which it's what I do. I'm a shaman. I watch the signs, I watch the earth, try to stay chilly. And one day, when I opened up one morning, I walked out onto my sun disk, which is a big fat crystal, big large crystal, far as you can see. And that crystal does pretty much everything. It's my sacred space. And when I walked out there, I could see myself, and I could see that I couldn't see anything. And I pushed this up like that, and I exited it out of
Mm,
my casket
mm,
twice. 2 days I had that as my very first scene. So the first scene is always pay attention. This is what you've got going on. Well, I didn't really know what that meant. And I had kind of forgotten about other little deaths. But wow, it was definitely in front of me very soon. Thought I had the flu, thought I had a kidney stone because I couldn't think of anything that was that painful.
wow.
I didn't know. So I had, sorry, you guys, this is going to take a second because this actually makes a lot of sense. And it's super cool to see what,
There's no rush. Just
yeah,
take your time.
I'm just going to throw it up out there. R. So I was projectile vomiting, which I'd never done before. And I was having a fever and I was really sick. And Tom was asleep. He'd been sleeping. I hadn't been sleeping for days. And I realized I needed to go to the hospital, which I avoid because I always just call my friends or whatever and work on me, or Hands of Light, my group where we help people. You get to a point when you've got an issue that you have to do something because I was so dehydrated. And I thought if I have a kidney stone, I need to know because there's stuff I need to do for that, supplements, different things. So I went to the emergency room at like 5 in the morning. There was nobody there here in my little area. And they got me right in. They were so kind, completely different from 2 years ago where I had pancreatitis. Now, I was realizing, connecting up these connections that you do when you're about to have a big thing happen. My mom had cirrhosis of the liver and never drank. She never
Mm,
drank.
mm,
I have pancreatitis. I never drank. I mean, socially once in a blue, but I'd always rather have a piece of cake. I just don't like the taste of alcohol. So, and they always ask me, so Mary, how much do you drink? Nothing. And I had, for 2 years, I eliminated stuff out of my diet. I did all kinds of stuff. So I got to the point where I had Chinese food, which was the catalyst, and it blew it up again. So it turned out what was different this time was the pain in my back, which made me think I had a kidneys. I didn't even know what happened. And it turns out they treated me super nice. They took good care of me. They gave me a scan. They listened to me when I said I'm allergic to some stuff, can't have the dye. I'm allergic to any, just don't give me anything. And Tom was there to say, she's very sensitive, don't give her anything, right? And so they helped me, and I went home, and I've been working on it ever since. First thing you do is you don't eat. So you don't eat for a lot of days until your pancreas settles down. And then what is it? What's going on? So they hooked me up with a different gastro. I went to the gastro. I told him the issue, and I said, I'm ready. It's been 2 years. I cleared all the emotion out of myself about fear because I had a lot of medical fear because
mm,
anytime I go near one of those guys, something happens. And as a lot of us spiritual people do, we find that we take care of ourselves best, you know.
mm,
And so this guy was decent. He was happy. He was nice. I went out of there thinking this is going to be great. He said, I'll put this before the group of doctors and we will get you that scan where they put the little thing down the throat and they look around, right? That guy went on vacation. That doctor went on
mm,
vacation and did nothing.
mm,
I called 4 times and finally they said, are you still having that pain? So it was a great understanding of that little death. But the cool thing, and so it's kind of in flux right now, I don't know. But the cool thing I understood was my grandpa on my mom's side was an alcoholic and he was violent. Okay. And he's deceased, of course. He died when I was a kid. Okay. I saw his face and I said, you, are you still here? And he's right on me. He's right on me, always has been on my mom too. So and I assisted that beautiful soul back home who was really scared because he thought his family was not going to love him, wouldn't
mm.
support him, didn't want anything to do with him. He didn't cross. And there he sat on my mother's energy and mine, and probably other people in the family that they just don't know.
Yeah, he probably brought some in with him too.
Yep. So I said, turn around. You're looking at your light. You are the light. That's every bit of love you ever need. And home he went. And I felt like I lost 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
So I believe this last little death was really important to have because when all of that stuff happened, when the people, didn't do what they said that they were going to do and was actually just, you know, astoundingly inept.
Like
I
a
didn't.
Chinese fire drill or
It
Keystone
really,
Cops.
yeah, it really was. So finally, the only one that got back to me just like that was the cover your butt department.
Of
They got
course.
back to me right away. And they said, what can we do for you? This is terrible. Oh, we're so sorry. And I said, I'm loving thinking, and I thank you. I love talking to you. Thank you. Nothing. You can't do anything for me because
Wow.
I spent all this time getting to my space of trusting that now I know what to do. I know what to do. I'll just go back to the one that actually did. I was just too lazy to drive that far. I went to somebody else. So I'm just going to go back to the one that's far away. And so to me, I feel like, wow, what a lesson, and just so thankful for going through that really chilly. But you know what I did, Todd? You probably heard it over there. I broke the sound barrier when I got pissed. And pissed is the last thing I'm ever going to get. I'm always going to get sad.
Yeah.
This is in the past. I would get sad. I'd take on, well, years ago, victim. I do all that kind of stuff. And this time I went, oh, no, you don't. And then again, and then after I said that, totally fine. So right now I'm like, okay, I'm still walking on that path, but I'm heading now down towards probably total healing of it as soon
Mm,
as I put the camera down and see what it is. Feels like a little beaver down there eating. I don't know what that is.
mm. Wow.
So
Wow.
that was the
There's a
little.
lot in that story. There's a whole
Yeah,
lot in that story. No, really.
there
Yeah.
is. Yeah, absolutely. Um, there was judgment, which is rampant right now.
Yeah.
Rampant judgment
Yeah.
is what
Yeah.
that was. And I had to apologize because when I was right in it, you know, I just, I don't remember what I said. I think I just made a joke as I do. And I said, I'm sorry for that, but it doesn't take away the fact that that's just an incompetent way to help a
Yeah.
person that's waiting for some help. And he's still on vacation, and I'm still sitting there with pain to a 7 or an 8.
Wow.
So there you go.
There's another stream in this story. You have the stream of, I mean, your grandfather,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Your mother never drank, but she got cirrhosis. You have these issues. So that whole, yeah, because to me it feels like, and I knew it in the spring, maybe even a little earlier, and I knew it was going to be a hot summer.
Yeah.
And on June 1st, for me, everything started. And I've been watching, obviously my own experience and what I'm seeing out there. And a lot of what you're describing in your story comes into play, at least from my perspective. One of them is that you have enough, people are saying, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. This is really this is the burn, right? This is the burn. And so you have, you know, it's not just one thing. It's more than one thing. So you have this ancestral lineage that's been carried. Uh, you're also at the last part of what you're talking about is literally uh, re remaking your DNA. And at some level of physicality, your energetic body, your physical body are kind of coming together. I think another big part of the story that's happening that comes through in your story is the the what's the right word? The shamanic part of it. The soulful part of it. Um, you might call it the metaphysical or the non-physical or the woo-woo, and then the distortion running right next to it. And the moral to the story is, and I think the good news is that we're about to really get a dose of the work that we've been doing on ourselves all these years.
Hmm.
And to be able to go through what you went through is a perfect metaphor because you have this ability to tap into yourself. You have this other thing playing out. You're in the middle saying, this is killing me. I got to find out what the hell's going on. So you grant that authority or power or whatever over to this entity. Not that you're not going to be involved, but you're saying, I need to know, you got to help me.
Yeah, you got to
And then
work
it fails you.
again.
And what do? Like you said, you oh my God, thank you for direct me back to the real physician. Physician, heal thyself. And then like I said, I think the moral to the story ultimately is that we can go through these things of the greatest extremes, our woo woo and the dysfunction and distortion of our personal experience in relation to how it plays out, and be able to go through it chilled. Not super chilled. You might have a little bit of nervousness. You might have a little bit of, because there's a lot of energy pumping through the body,
Hmm.
but to be able to go through it and come out the other side, like you said, yeah, it looks like little mundane things that the humans doing, but it's really not. They're powerful, energetic, multidimensional, um, uh, you know, forward motion.
Yeah, and I'm just happy I had my husband there
Yeah.
because he was there to witness what happened. And he said, every time you get near these guys, And I just keep saying they're teaching me something. And so for the last 6 years, we've done a lot of work on DNA. I mean, that's what we do in the art of your energies. We work on your DNA, we work on emotions and this kind of stuff, right? And um, work on the subconscious. And I don't know, everything was different. Where when we decided to take a rest, a lot of us heard that thing, take a rest. We heard that this year. Pull out, take a rest.
Yeah, the first half of this year, definitely, and maybe even the latter part of last year.
Unplug, get quiet. They said a lot of, you know, um, and take time really because other people's emergencies aren't necessarily ours, you know. And so I learned to really pay attention to that last year actually and understand that I'm going to give if I can, but if I can't, I can't. And I just lovingly say, hey, got to wait till tomorrow or I'm out for the week or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
taking, yeah, honoring my own self for my own healing because otherwise, uh, I am not going to be comfortable in that incredible energy, which is there. And it's just like it's, you know, it, you've touched it yourself.
Mm.
And it's there during this tumult, right? Um, and it's beautiful when we can catch it. So today is one of those days. Today's one of those rah energy days. But there's still out there that supreme peace, which comes by honoring yourself,
Yeah.
backing out of the chaos hole, taking your hand out of the chaos hole. But I just pay attention to the land, the water, the
Yeah.
tree, okay? And that is my peace. And so when I can't get peaceful in the body, I go out there
Yeah.
and or I go on my disc, which does pretty much whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but in our subconscious, I wrote notes because I thought I'd be so happy to see I'd forget everything. But so far, I seem to be doing okay. So right now, what we're kind of holding everybody could be world, could be collective, is blame of self and others, guilt, feeling depressed and alone, also regret, defeat, futility, and yeah, fear.
Yeah. I can I can see a lot of those terms, especially with the work I do every day because I'm able to see the energy of it through the memes I collect because I collect a couple of hundred memes a day for
Yeah.
and put them out in Soulogy and the futility that the last few words on a personal level I'm not I've experienced that before, especially when I woke up many years ago
Mhm.
on the streets of Houston. But I don't feel too much of that now. But I can see what you're talking about. But I can also see this, what I call the golden thread. Like
Mhm.
this, you called it that energy's still out there and the peace. And there's something about that golden light, that golden thread that's steadily, subtly, gently, softly expanding and powerfully. It's a
Right.
very, very constant kind of thing. I see it in a lot of people, in a lot of little stories, in a lot of ways. So, summer's not over yet. And please continue. I'd like to go back too, though, and go back to this Lionsgate because there seemed to be a hell of a lot of stuff come through with this Lionsgate. And it's my understanding. I'm doing a show with Raylene tomorrow, Brady. And when I was exchanging messages confirming, she said, yeah, tomorrow, which would be their 22nd, is the end of the Lionsgate corridor.
Yep.
And I felt yesterday, I was telling a friend, I was like, you know what? I think we just came into the tail end of this thing. And I didn't know about this closing of the Lionsgate on the 22nd, but yeah, it's not over yet. There's still some information and experience to come from it. But yeah, please continue. Thank you.
My friend called it the lion's gate that roared, and I thought that was perfect.
Mm,
So I knew that only because I had to go look it up because I'm sometimes not conscious on what the date is, but I
right.
had to go look it up because I was feeling that we were closing in on that,
Yeah.
and my team had told me, and higher self, part of the team, had told me you're done with your free offering of Lionsgate, which I called the Kit Kat Club, and there were four offerings, which was like Barracuda, Landslide. I can't remember the rest of them. That's tonight. So they told me, put those two together because you're done. You're going to then support the Equinox that's coming. Not the Equinox. The
Yeah, it's Equinox.
no, it's the well, it is that, but
The
it's
99 Gateway.
mm-mm. Well, we're probably going to do that one step at a time for me. Well,
Oh, there's a lunar eclipse or
there's two of them. Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
And
Yeah,
so
one of
that's
them's a,
what
yeah.
they said I was going to support. So all that other stuff in there, the 9-9 and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
I personally believe in that. People love to fight about that stuff. I'm not going to fight about what I can feel. I get in
Yeah,
my
I agree with you. I saw a couple of people make some post about that. And basically this what you're seeing, this judgment you're talking about.
yeah.
And and I'm with you. I'm not really that aware unless I stop and think about it or go look it up, like you said. But there is this feeling. And since Friday, August the 8th, uh, I mean, that went on for like, I don't think it even stopped because this past Friday, which would have been the 15th, right? It was almost like a second shot came in. And I think over the weekend there was all these flares and storms, and now the same thing's happening again, 222. The same thing's happening again as we head into this next Friday, which is in 2 days.
Yes.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we get another jolt. My feeling was, I think I even put a post up and I said something like, I've never, and I hadn't, that 3 day period, which would have been like Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I said, I've never gone through an experience like this right now. And if there's ever going to be a solar flash, wouldn't be surprised if it happens now, but I don't think it's going to be a solar flash where everybody just wakes up and goes la la la. I think it's a solar flash showing us a giant magic mirror one more time. Like, that's really seems to be the theme kind of between the stories and between the lines is we're seeing what we're not.
Yeah, because we talked about that, didn't a lot of people talked about that, that there were going, well, the blue light on the earth, you can't deny. The blue light is on the earth to show what we couldn't see. And it's to point up, uh, oh, I wrote this down because I didn't want to blow it.
A blue light. I hadn't heard about that. But when I tell you that I had it in a lucid dream last night, and I just remembered when you said this to me, everything just came back to me. So
Yeah.
tell us about the blue light.
Well, the blue light, and trust me, where you want to go for this is Nancy Rebecca's work, which is all over the place. She sits with Pam Gregory sometimes, and if you don't know Nancy's work, go find some Pam Gregory interviews because that is where Nancy talks from beginning to now regarding the blue light. She's a friend of mine from Tacoma, Washington, which is where I used to live, and she's a wonderful healer. She is a beautiful person. She is a medicine woman, Sangoma, and so much more, a registered nurse. So she's the one who brought through the understanding of where the blue light was going to show up the first time, exactly, exactly the timing of it, and where it was going to show up. And each time it showed up again. So if you
Wow.
want your mind to be blown, please don't let me tell you about this because I don't want to mess up
No,
your.
no, no. I'm like you though.
But
It's like it's more about feeling with me. And then the other thing I've noticed since I'd say maybe the past year, but certainly ramping up this year, is what I call physical synchronicities. So for instance, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of people myself because I'm a big lucid dreamer. I've been having more and more intense lucid dreams with more understanding, more clearly who
yeah,
I'm interacting with. I mean, it's been
yeah,
really, really cool. But last night it kind of culminated, and you know, I have this experience with this blue light, and I forgot all about it. And you're telling me about this blue light. So for me, it's feeling. That's like, oh yeah, that's like 11:11. Because when I experienced the blue light last night,
yeah.
I started. You might say I started in my consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
fully in my physical body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not going to go into detail, but from there it went out, like, city, country,
Yeah.
continent. and then to the Earth, and then solar system, galaxy, so on, and then beyond universal into this spot that was, I guess you would say, a blue void,
Yeah.
basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it was just like everything was there. Like everything was there, every single perception, everything. So that's kind of the feeling I get when you talk about this blue light. Is is I don't want to say the softer truths, but the truths that override the things that we've worried about and that we won't be worrying about much longer.
Oh, absolutely. Because I said something to my friend a couple months ago. I said the blue light points up illusion, and we're going to see more stuff.
Mm.
And she said politics, and I'm like, without a doubt, it's aliens, isn't it? Tell me it's aliens. I'm like, undoubtedly, but it's actually us because we couldn't see us very
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
So that mirror thing, oh man, I've been seeing that a lot. That's a symbol on the grid or on the sun disk for me. But the reason why I say go find her work is because the story is so incredible that you'll just be blown away by it. So, and you'll feel it on the days she tells you to feel it because it's like, oh, and I always feel that. I
right.
feel like being a Blu-ray person, because of when I was born. I'm probably one of them. Probably a Syrian connection, which is the light. Probably that kind of stuff. But right now, in this understanding of me, just a shaman walking the earth, trying to help some dirty water. I love that dirty water, and there's a lot of it around here in Pennsylvania, so it's probably why I'm here. I don't know. They just told me go to Pennsylvania. I went okay. So I do believe something is coming, and anytime anybody feels that way, and they start feeling, I'm going to make a statement, and you guys just throw that right out the window with everybody else's statement. And I think that's why Rod Stewart's song "Blondes Have More Fun" keeps coming up for me. Which I haven't thought of in probably 30 years. It starts out, it's a matter of opinion, it's a contradiction.
Mm.
And so I looked up the words and I'm like, that's where I'm going with that, because we're all given our opinions, right? And the best thing, in my humble, is what do you feel? Get in the body. What do you feel? How are you going to handle this? Get in the body to understand, right?
Mm.
That's just what I'm going to do. Just going to
Yeah,
walk the path every day. I'm just going to put one foot in front of the other and do the next thing in front of me. So did
right.
I work on my class tonight? No, I worked on what I was going to say with you. Class comes later, one thing at a time. Otherwise, the only timing that may get messed up, since time and timing is so weird, is that if you take on somebody else's timing for something, you might get bowled over. And it's really about being nice and peaceful right now. Now, does
Yeah,
that mean I'm not helping the places in the world that are hot spots or the people that are suffering? No. I'm just keeping my opinion to myself.
right, right. Exactly. And mine's kind of been, um, don't tell anybody anything. Just keep doing what you're talking about. Just keep chopping wood, carrying water, wash on, wax off, and just don't announce anything. Just be, that privacy, that solitude, that isolation. That seems to be a huge thing, as you referred to earlier. And then I think the other thing too that you're bringing through in what you just told us is, kind of like a combination. Like I go out to the bay every day, like 6 days out of the week,
Mm-hmm.
and many times it'll be just like you described. You feel this energy, and you can't really put anything on it directly. So I'll just walk out to the bay, sit down, and I'll be there for 2, 3, hours, and no music in the ears, and just let the water and the wind and the nature kind of just do it without words. And so the last thing that you were just saying, I'm just kind of trying to connect that to, you going out to nature and what I just told you about myself. And you were talking about not, expressing the opinion. I think what's happening to us is we're becoming less and less able to, inclined to speak things that carry an imbalanced vibration, because you had mentioned judgment earlier, and let's say prejudices and biases, because we are moving to that nature that brings us peace without words. we might call it higher than telepathy. It's the way the animals communicate, the way we communicate with the animals, and so on and so on. It's where we're headed, and so I feel like that's going to be something that's going to be maybe more noticeable and more discussed as we evolve a little more, which I think is going to come pretty quick, and that we don't have to have these extended conversations anymore. Maybe to develop awareness and put open ideas out, but not to prove a point, right? Not to align with or attach to any type of narrative, because that's what's really dropping here is beliefs.
Absolutely.
Every single thing goes, and
It
that's
it all falls. That's what my team told me. It all falls.
you know
And then as people watch it all fall, they're like, "Oh no, it's not falling, is it?" Yeah, it is. And it's going to be okay.
yeah, because everything that falls will be there when the lenses are removed. It's all there. It's all the blue light. It's all, all the people, all everything. So much of this is based on the fact that we have 8 billion people and 8 billion different perceptions, and those perceptions are now starting to dovetail together,
Yes.
and they come through in these, what I call these little physical synchronicities, and this blue light thing is a perfect example. But yeah, and so it's an above telepathy thing that I think we've all been locked into in our connection with the universal, and as we've evolved and shared friendships and so on with each other. But now we're kind of going, hey, did you see that? Did you hear that? Did you catch that? So it's not so much the explanation, it's the signs, the synchronicities, which we can all relate to.
It is peaceful and I'm enjoying it. What I'm not enjoying is this stuff.
What is
Um,
that?
Anything on my phone from social media.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's
harder.
going.
I think
Yeah.
it's going to go away because right now it's fakey, bakey. And so when you see that kind of stuff, there's no energy there to me
No.
personally. So when I share stuff, unless it's just a really stupid, jokey meme or something, because I'm not above that, it's going to be something, some picture I've taken in this gorgeous countryside that's around. And when I go outside to drive through the fields, my heart blows open when I see the corn. I can't tell you how happy I am that the corn makes me so happy here in Pennsylvania and all the beautiful people. After 2 years, I'm still just as happy, and my husband's super happy, loves his job and loves being here, and we just get blown away by the scenery. But I am sure uninterested in that fakey, shaky, bakey stuff. I just am not,
Yeah.
and it's going to
Right.
be more, and pretty soon it's probably going to be better than the clunky lunky that it is right now, because it's just laughable right now and you can see it. You can see some of the stuff that are people like, oh, my heart goes out, and it's a fake picture of
Yeah.
manipulated people, and people
But
get
there's but and therein lies the rub. Therein lies the rub. I get what you're saying, and so I've had to struggle, coming back in mid-May and really starting to build Soulogy up again.
yeah,
It takes a lot of work, and you get exposed to a lot of different things,
yeah,
right? But I think I've had enough experience over the years to figure out, what you've been talking about in the beginning of the show, which is to basically put your energy as a priority and then pop in and help when you can. But what I'm saying is I don't make comments on social media. I started to 3 or 4 weeks ago
mhm,
as these things were materializing because I saw the disparity,
yeah,
and and what I keep coming back to is very much like your example. If you look at your example, and let's say instead of that medical issue, over here on this light side is your work, where you express, a venue where you express that is more capable than just, without, that venue. And then on the other end, you have the mass distortion of what you're describing that's getting louder and louder and louder. So
yeah.
it's kind of a combination of both, and I don't think we forecast it. I think it's more likely that we won't see the demise of so many things to speak. I mean, energetically, yes, but I think this is all about transformation. It's all about collaboration, co-creation, bringing everything into the middle of that torus field, the Vesica Pisces, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Um, and and I think about these things, and thank you for bringing this up. And one of the things that I've been thinking about the last month or so is, you can't divorce yourself from any of this. And what a wild field of potential to be in the physical bodies, having this conversation, and moving towards, even if we're have fits, and it's a little bit resistance and attachment you have to get rid of and purge and that, but we're moving to a place where everything is uh, of the same band of frequencies, the same vibration, the same dimensional atmosphere, whatever. And we're doing this in our bodies, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because I just wonder, and I've always wondered how far we can go, but I actually feel like I'll live over 800 years more now than ever, right? I feel like the sky is the limit, and the key is bringing the shadow and the light together,
Hmm.
even in these very mundane, obvious scenarios. Um, it's not, to me. It's like a thin line, and maybe there might not be a perfect way to explain it, but sometimes you just got to say, let's agree to disagree.
That's
And
where I'm at. It just isn't on my radar. I just look at it and scroll by. It
yeah,
doesn't make any sense. I've got
no,
a way of describing it, but nobody wants to hear that. So it's a matter of opinion, might be a
yeah,
contradiction, Rod Stewart. But I just trust myself to be able to use my skills, which are expanding because I'm playing with them, trusting what I'm seeing.
mm,
I don't need I don't need some regurgitated stuff off a machine
mm,
because I'm working on it every day.
yeah, yes. And
It's
like your story with the medical thing, the let's just say that's the internet. The people at the hospital over the internet
yes.
become so distorted and
Yeah.
so obvious that either by force or flow, your soul pushes you back to yourself.
But the
You know,
cool thing though is the nurse that took care of me had been a nurse for 4 days. I said,
wow.
"How long you been here?" He says, "4 days." I said, "Wow, how long you been a nurse?" 4 days. That guy had compassion out of
Yeah.
his. I
Well,
mean,
he hadn't been institutionalized yet.
he hadn't. He hadn't. And he said, "How do you feel about after having a little bit of that pain medication?" I said, "I still have the pain now. I don't give a shit." He said, "Well, that's a good way to describe it." And I
Yeah.
said, "I still have the pain." And he
Uh,
got it. He got it. And then they said, "Do you want to stay? Do you want to stay?" And I said, "I know how this goes. I'm going to go home. I'm just, thank God I don't have a kidney stone."
oh my God.
But as far as what's out there on social media, other people's dogs, the cool information about what's changing in the colors of the nature and my beautiful friends and that kind of stuff. I still want to see that, and I'll probably stay on there. But that fakey, shaky, bakey, and other
Yeah.
people's words, and it's not your words. I want to type and write with all my stupid punctuation that I never had. I never even, I'm a published author. Did I go to school? No, I didn't. So I want all that stuff in there. I want all those misspoken words because that makes me me.
Mm,
So I think I'll
yes.
get off that for right now because it's my opinion. But I do need to say that because some people get sucked into that,
Well,
and
I
it's
think that,
just
yeah,
where somebody's going, and they probably need to do that. Just like me getting sucked back into the medical system to learn that next lesson. And so
right.
I love the step on the path. Every step is
Yeah.
progress.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, and you're right too, because there's it's a different flow or different pattern than it was prior to 2025. So yeah, I think a lot of stuff is being magnified, and I think your example is a perfect example. Because you see the distortion, and you get to a point, and you just go, it's not worth my time. I'm not judging it, but snapshot, 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 and it drives you back to yourself.
Yeah.
And then so like say for example, there'll be times the 3 or 4 times a day, and I'll go on and start gathering, and I notice that, maybe once, maybe twice during the day, I'll start to go do it. And what I'm seeing is distortion, 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 distortion. And my soul will go, it's not time right now. You need
Yes.
to go do this. So I'll go do something else. I'll come back, and all of a sudden there'll be 20 in a row. Funny, wisdom, this one, that apply to that frequency of truth, I guess you would say, with a little bit of humor. But yeah, so there's something about the third energy that's present in everything that's occurring, and and part of that I think is we have to give some credit to our evolution since say 2012 with the power of the internet, kind of putting imagery to our energy,
Yeah.
to our voice, our resonance, and the ways we've communicated with each other, the connections that we've made, and the growth that we've had. So it's been important. Uh,
Very important to connect in that way. And I think it's going to maybe shake out to the better, maybe. But I'm hoping, I just keep hoping that one of these days it's going to make me do something other than scroll past. And I think when people hear humor, they can understand the lesson easier. At least for sure, it's for me.
yeah,
That if somebody treats me kindly, makes me laugh, I'm going to listen to them better.
yeah,
But judgment is still big thing. That we're going through that war energy, and just having problems listening. It's really kind of funny because a couple days ago I pulled my card. It's called Growth Stretch. It's about listening, and so everything has come in about listening just in the last couple days, which clearly, you know, not listening between us in some way. So
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, Todd. I
I really feel like that. There was that's what my soul told me. So I think what you're saying, there's so much to it because that you have to do this, you need to do that. That whole thing's going away because that's all opinion, and
yes.
right? And so, but I think that 12-year period that ended on the solstice in December,
Hmm.
uh, my soul and I felt it like to the day, to at least before, even before the end of the year hit, in those first few days after the solstice, that we're on the other side of this thing.
Hmm.
So it's not like the pattern of resistance against us and the two steps up and one back kind of thing. It's just the challenge is more in, oh wow, this is how this works now. I don't have to go do these things that I just figured out. It's just a habit, or it's an addiction, or it's a pattern from a trauma.
Yeah.
So we learn these things, and I put a post up last night, which I was basically saying that we're getting all this information and we're able to apply it instantly to our experience,
Yeah.
and that's making for some really powerful connections, and I think almost like nodal points on the grid.
Interesting that you said that because that's basically this page right here. The
That's
re-
what I'm talking about, though. See, that's what I'm talking about.
yeah, the releasing of the compulsions, the mindless acts, and the addictions and the habits. Right. That's where we're at right now.
Without judgment,
Yeah,
without judgment. Just
without judging, because even if I judge, um, you know, the crap I was talking about earlier, even if I judge that, somebody's going to think that's peachy and they love it. Love
yeah,
it. So
yeah,
more power to them. It's not my thing. So, and if we pull in like some dedication to looking around to see where our connections are still, the things that we can loosen up right now
yeah,
on our own, and instead of having that control, if we
yeah,
change to dedication rather than control, that scaffolding around the old stories are going to go down because
yeah.
that thumb on our head is not there yet anymore. It's just
No,
not.
well,
It's us. That's why we're seeing the mirror. It's us
yeah,
on us now.
yeah, yeah, and it's us in the sense that I am a composition of all those things. My Mayan, my this, my that, but it's all now here. But now it's flipping too, because I've been feeling this, and I've been saying it on the show for about a month and a half. I'm starting to have experiences and see the mirror that I am in front of me. So the little physical synchronicities happen, the blue light, the what you just said, oh, this is what you just said is on this page. So there's these signs that are not through the normal languages that are coming through. And it is a language because it's based on feeling like you were talking about. It's a new way to connect and communicate, and it's moving quickly. But I like what you said too about of what you had on that page, and that I feel like part of the judgment program was to be self-deprecating ultimately, even if we thought we were talking about somebody else, we're talking about ourselves. And so therefore we would go into like New Year's resolutions. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to do this and I'm not going to do that. And it's a recipe for failure
Mhm.
energetically. It's a recipe to further embed the old paradigm. So I feel like what's happening now is more of a natural unfoldment. We get the information in our head. It becomes immediately something that we can utilize. And I think the thing that you're talking about, like with the internet, is a perfect example. Because we've all had that day where we've gone, I'm getting off, I'm never coming back.
Yeah.
you know but there is some fluidity to this, and I think there are many different streams that we haven't seen before. We've tapped into them. We might know the history of them, we might know they're real, but there's a bunch of them out there and they cover a lot of things, including colors or experiences of let's say a paranormal nature, animal and nature interactions that make you go, oh my God, this is really happening. Now it's even happening with the bird outside, or the cats, or whatever. But yeah, so I feel very confident about what we've just been through and where we're headed. And I gotta say, I'm a little bit, I'm like, let's not get in too much of a rush, because I know September, month of completion, the 9/9 in a 9 year, that's a 999, right? Because 2025 is a nine. So, and then you have the equinox, and the equinox to me is going to be is like, well, we just went through, and every time we go through another month, we go through the biggest gateway we ever had. But I can't imagine it's going to be huge, because it is signifying the completion, the number nine, but is also bringing in the 10 or the one, and we're starting this, new. Should be
I'm
interesting.
excited. I go into that going, wahoo, I'm excited, let's go.
Yeah.
Getting my butt kicked the whole way and just
Right.
okay with it. I'm in a
Then you
one.
get walloped.
Well, the lion went with the paw, but this year is a one for me. My husband's in a nine. So him in a 9 year for
Mm.
himself and all those nines, he's probably I mean, I don't even know. But to me this year is great. It's a great year to see how much change people are going through, and I just applaud the change and how hard it was for people, and they went through it anyway, and
Mm.
they just did it. And I'm excited about what's coming. I am. I'm
Yeah.
and it does feel good because I remember it was like December, I think, or it was last year. And I said, I'd like to look ahead a little bit. And I heard, I think other people have heard me say, when the leaves and the flowers are on the trees, the change will come. And that was really true. And then I heard, you get to fall, boy, howdy, it's really going to be something,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
that's about as far as I go because, what do I want to know? I want to experience it
Yeah.
one step at a
Yeah.
time, if that
Well,
makes any sense.
yeah, and I feel like that's another thing that's kind of fallen into the category of what you were talking about with opinions, and conjecture, but that like prophecy, like you can go in, I can go in and take a snapshot and see what we can see. But to me, the big wild card here, and the big hidden strength that I think we're coming into as far as like our awareness, is the direct relationship that we have in this space that's beyond the words that we heard all these years. Oh, you got to have neutrality and you've got to be in the. No, this is actually actually doing it with every cell of your body in every thought, word, and action. This is a place that we're moving to, and it's not like some nirvana. It's actually technology. It's actually the way we kind of set up this template to see what can we actually do in this physical density.
Mhm.
But a direct relationship between, um, you know, keeping yourself in your own lane, taking care of yourself, understanding that that will serve everything outside of you to the highest extent as you do that for yourself. And that we have more and more and more people doing it. And the last thing I'd say too is like what you talked about, like what we've gone through, whatever the case is. But, you know, um, many, all of us had really success, many traumas and certainly some dark nights of the soul. Many of us, that was the catapult for our reawakening. Uh, and so these same kind of motions or rhythms or patterns, and again, not a loop, but a spiral, it's not our first rodeo. And at some point, the sting of the experience is going to become obsolete because of the strength of the awareness, and therefore the connections will be tighter. There'll be more oneness, more unity, and I feel like not my only question is, and that's just because of my human. It's like, am I going to be around when this happens, or do I have to come back in another body? Whatever.
The only thing I would add to that, because I agree with most of that, is that old stuff that tripped us up is not going to be on our mind again.
Yeah,
Because
that's what I said.
the
Yeah.
old stuff is just gone.
That's what I mean. Like, so all the anything, any family, anything, any trauma, because we're gonna literally see it and sustain it from our soul's eyes.
Yeah.
We're not going to drop back in the human. So, oh, but wait a minute, I had it worse than you, or wait a minute, you know what I mean? Because I don't know about you, but I will say this, that it's all been a progression. But this summer has been one where, everything seems to have gone deeper, obviously. But
Yes.
even in the effectiveness of neutralization, which is basically treating any of these shadows, any of these experienced traumas, memories, or anything that comes up as part of as me, and to say, okay, this happened. How do you feel? Oh, you felt ashamed. Okay. What does that feel like? Oh,
Mm.
what is shame? Oh my God, wait a minute. This is my story. Oh,
Right.
you set this up? You're a genius. But yeah, I mean, and that's where the laughs come in too. I mean, I can say there's been more, say tears, but the laughter's been unmatched.
Yeah.
It really has. And nature does that for me a lot too.
Well, we're just funny.
Yeah.
What I meant by the speed to it is that um, I can remember what happened a couple weeks ago
Mm,
and stuff I was going through, missing certain people,
mm,
missing my um,
I
my
got you.
missing old family or friends or people that I could just like hug and love on in front of me. And I went through that and cleared that, and I can barely remember it. And it's like a new start over. And it's like I can kind of
Right.
sort of, I barely
Right.
remember. So I just think that instead of any time sitting around worrying
Yeah.
or having my paw in the chaos hole, that I'd rather use my energy to go through and find out, do I have any connection anywhere? I want to be slick as a whistle, super clean and juicy, so that if something big does happen,
Yeah.
and trust me, I always think that's going to be positive, because you do hear, I'm sure you hear it all the time, about, this and all this is going to happen, and it's only going to be 5 people left. And, you know,
Oh, I don't.
and
I,
it's the person writing the post, for sure it's them. They're one of the 5.
well, I mean, this is what we are talking about before the show started. Humble pie,
Yeah.
and I still, and I shared that with you. I had written that song. I learned that humiliation and humility are the same thing,
Hmm.
and that's everything's a metaphor. But like, there's so many ways to say this, and we've heard it so many times. They were cliches. They were new ageisms. They were even in some of these sacred texts. But to hear something, read something, and to actually do something, where
Hmm.
your thoughts, words, and actions are actually aligned in a physical density such as this, that's where the power is.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like we're coming into. Um, and, like I said, the sky's the limit. I mean, there's just so many examples, but I feel like one quick way to get there for me is whether I'm looking at globally, galactic wars, family, relationships, whatever, whatever, uh, my light, my power, you know, my glow is going to be directly proportionate to the level that I own it all. I truly own it all. Truly own everything, which means I don't have an opinion about you and I don't have a judgment about you. You either, I move into that neighborhood and the vibrations, I have an experience like this.
Hmm.
And or you move into one that's less less balanced, and then you go, okay, well, nice seeing you, and you come back. But you come together once, you come together forever. And the linear part of it too, the time and space thing. Well, time's been doing weird stuff for a long time, but the space thing seems to be up next. I mean, it feels like the space thing is becoming.
Yeah. Everything's bigger, feels like
Yeah.
to me. It's
Yeah.
bigger. So I'm just going on the record saying humble pie is the only pie I'm eating right now.
Well, if you're eating as much as I'm eating, I don't think you could eat anymore.
Oh yeah, because see, that doesn't bug me. I don't mind being wrong. I'll tell you when I am,
Yeah.
and I'm wrong a lot, and I don't care. I just try to learn from as much as I can as being a puny little human that I am. But the sky's the limit is an interesting way of putting that. Is because my one of my guys, Holy Mother Mary, she said specifically, the sky is not the limit.
Right.
And I love that. And so what I've been noticing is just these voices of the animals, of the trees, of the people who come in
Mm,
on the grid that teach me. You know,
mm,
I worked on a dog the other day and I just say, okay, come. And I'll see him come to me. And this dog went and spit out a frog. Okay. And after I got done working on that dog, I said, that's a little too precious to have had a frog in your throat. It didn't mean that exactly. It meant ever so much more. So the animals that will teach us, the trees that will teach us, the dirt, what's under the dirt, the freaking rocks, which everybody knows me. I'm a rock hound. The level of what you can get from that. I mean, my friend, my dear Missy, made me a beautiful. She made my pancreas a pendant, actually.
oh wow.
And I talked to her yesterday. She goes, "You have that on?" I'm like, "Well, I just took a shower," and I go put it on. But what you can use as a tool, I still think is viable. I'm just going to say that. I still
Of
think some
course.
tools are viable right now because remember how we went through throw your crystals away. You don't need anything. You don't need your pendulum and all that. And that just was another thing I wasn't interested in because the day I'm going to throw my rocks away is probably the last day of my life, and I'm going to put them all over me, or Tom will, as he rolls me out in the alley. So,
Rap shoot. Like a
yeah,
mummy.
yeah, he's going to roll me out in the ivy because what else are you going to do? I'm just going to decompose. But what I'm getting at with that is you can hear so much more now. It's
Yeah.
just fabulous. I
Yeah.
think that I don't want to rely on anything else other than that. On my show, I'm going to interview somebody who feels completely different than all of that. I don't
Mm,
understand this person, and I'm so excited to hear because this person is a super cool thinker that is so different than everybody I know.
mm.
So that's what I like to hear. And it's not like an argument ever
No.
really, because I can listen to people and
No.
disagree.
Yeah.
I'm just not interested in certain stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's really important. I got into a discussion with a brother this week, and he said, and no, and I hold him in the highest regard. Just a story, but he was like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to have a debate. I'm like, I don't want to have a debate. I want to have an open, conscious conversation. And that to me is another metaphor for just experiencing life as well. But
Mhm.
yeah, I believe that, how better to, because we know our beliefs have to go. We
Mhm.
know this. Okay. So how better to support that and facilitate that, but to be put before things that you're either not privy to or have been closed down to, so you can open up to things that are quote unquote in opposition or antagonistic of whatever the case is. uh, you're taking in more data, you're taking in more experience and information, and that's what we do as souls. That's what we do.
That's why I'm so excited about this lady, because pretty soon Metaphysical Meltdown, my little thing's coming back. And she has a different opinion. Super interesting, really kind person.
Yeah,
Really, right now, I'm interested in somebody who's going to be, uh, forthcoming and kind and funny and that sort of thing so that I can learn, you know. I want to learn. There's so
yeah,
much to learn right now. I mean, don't you feel that way? It's just like we get
absolutely,
every
absolutely.
morning. It's like,
I've
what can
always, I mean, like I said, that's I've always felt that way. I feel like that's why we have these incarnations. That's why we do what we do. We do it to get to have more. Look, you can teach me whatever you want to teach me, but the experience is what teaches us. And
Mhm.
that's the information that's unique to us as a fractal, but also that's available to everyone else. So the universe grows, we grow, and we keep on going down the line. Yeah, I've had some really amazing shows in the last 2 or 3 months, and building a pretty good a line of shows in front of us. But one of the shows that I had a couple of weeks ago was with a lady that had expressed interest in coming on, and I was kind of slow getting to people because there was a lot of stuff going on with me. But so I reconnect with her, and we're going to do a show. And she tells me she lives in South Africa, and she tells me that she's no longer like in this arena of, let's say, the metaphysical or the spirituality or whatever. She's actually working with a group of ladies in Christianity,
Mhm.
and doing things with them as a group that very similar to what she was doing or what you do and so on. But so she was a little apprehensive. I said, no, I don't have a problem with that. So we had this great conversation where uh, both things, or everyone or everything was equally honored and trusted and respected and allowed and accepted. And yeah, it was an expanding experience for me, and I believe it was for her too.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that is that the area I live in is very much a faith-based Christian area.
Mm.
And somehow I got a hold of this novel. And it's a Christian novel. And I usually don't read that kind of stuff, meaning not that, like fiction as much as I do, like I want to learn something. But what I wanted to learn out of this book was there was stories about Amish people. I learned so much about my own area that I live in, super interesting, that I went and found another one. So if you told me that I would be reading Christian fiction, I would have told you I don't know if I align, but there you go. I mean, because there's all kinds of good stuff in each thing.
Oh yeah, it's that
And
golden thread.
yeah, it's
That
it's
go.
really amazing. And if I want to get some help from somebody in the community, I want to come to somebody whose energy is always doing that,
Yeah,
right? I want to see that somebody's learning, growing, and changing. I'm
yeah,
not going to go to somebody whose energy is backwards. So I always test that,
yeah,
okay? Because that means something that I'm not interested in. And I'm just going to say that I'm not interested in that. And I
yeah.
feel like that's uh, pretty neutral. Want to try to be neutral in the middle of the road kind of deal.
Well, you're honoring yourself. You're self-regulating. And that's really what you were even talking about it several times on the show today. Yeah, our this is home base, and this is the most important. You know, we're all a puzzle piece. So the more complete that puzzle piece is, the better off we are. And so we know things go. We know things are going to have an ebb and flow. So my job is to show up the best I can for myself, which means it's going to be the best I can for you, like in this example, and the collective. Um, but I feel like these things are happening, and I feel like we're doing the shows this year up until the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, the conversations we were having, there was a common thing that would be said. And it would be like, something's going on, but I just can't put my finger on it. And then June came,
Uh-huh.
and since then, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more understanding. And I really feel like that what's going to happen, and maybe it happens with the September thing, um, is we're going to come into a level of awareness to really understand what we've actually done, what we're doing, and therefore beyond the sky is the limit thing,
Yeah. And
right?
who?
Because that's another difference. I wonder what your opinion is on this, or what your take is on it. That's another difference I see, and I see a lot of differences between up until the end of last year. Um, and that is, I just forgot. Oh, no, I forgot. I forgot. It
That's
was
okay.
related. It was related to what I was talking about.
Well, I have a
Um,
question for you.
mm,
Don't you think we look different?
I do.
You look different. I look different.
I do. I do. Um, like, it's weird too. It feels like a split in so many different ways. And what I mean by that is there's some things going on with my body, not much, and I'm going, oh, wait a minute, are you fading away here? And then there's other things going on that I'm like, man, like my back, getting back the flexibility in my lower back that I hadn't had since I was 30.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Vertebrae popping every night, understanding that, I'm led to do it, that I'm further opening up that channel of the spine, not really, understanding it all, not narrating it, but just getting. So there's these things happening, and again, they're both playing out. So it's almost like my body's breaking down, and it's also turning into a light body at the same time.
Yeah. Isn't it? Isn't it interesting? Because I look at myself in the mirror and I give myself a little smile, because
Mm,
there for a while I was like, who the heck are you? And now it's like, oh good, or worse, oh God, you again. But
you're
what
fine.
I'm doing now is like I'm not like, wow, my boobs are different, or what did I do about that? Or are you whatever, right? It's more like I am enjoying this wonky body of
Yeah,
mine.
yeah,
I'm enjoying the differences and I'm enjoying the ability. I just, uh, I don't know, I'm just enjoying the heck out of people too. I wish I had more humans in front of me that I could, love on and squeeze because I really don't. I'm still a little isolated here. I'm sure I caused that to happen for myself. My husband, he's more out in the field, he sees more.
yeah.
Um, but luckily, I do get to I have a friend and a couple of friends in the area, and I am gonna get out there. It doesn't worry me
No,
uh, because
no. Well,
I'm having
yeah.
a good time.
Well, like you said earlier, I mean, you know, I can't even tell you how many people I know that are in isolation. Like
Yes,
and it wasn't necessarily, it just happened, you know, like, I can relate to this. And so, um, this summer has been extremely important. And I feel like the level of self revelation and self reflection and therefore self love and transformation has been huge, regardless of how it's described. And I really feel like that we're coming into this level of awareness, which is what I was going to tell you a minute ago, that we're really going to understand who we are, what we are, what's going on, and that's both for myself and for the mirrors. But one of the things that I noticed this year that's different than the previous years is it used to be something would have to come into your awareness, and then you kind of have to go through another step, like a process or researching your akashic, and then you'd come out on the other end, and then you could start to apply it. To
mhm.
me, it feels like that the awareness is kind of like the precursor to instant manifestation. Like the awareness comes in, and once you know it, your human may not get it. Just like the first part of this year, all the downloads that we were getting, nobody had an explanation, but we knew something was going on, right? But like, so the awareness, once you become aware of something, which is every day, all day long, your ability to apply it to your experience in let's say a more aligned way with yourself and all things and all other things is becoming quick. It's becoming fast. It's becoming immediate.
It is immediate, and that's why I call in miracles all the time, whatever they are.
Mm,
I manifest, what I need or help others manifest for them. And it's just being in that alignment to be able to do that. And because if you're kind of not, and you're working in kind of a lower energy, you're going to manifest a poo in your hands, and I don't want that, right? And so
Well, that's
planet.
well, that's yeah. That was funny. I'm sorry.
It's true though,
I'm
because
just in a I'm in a
yes.
but well, the thing is, a part of the intelligence that's coming in, and it's been from what I can see, it's got some bite to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like 25 is moving like I believe it's the new earth. It's already, it's new patterns. We're with the current now. We're not swimming against the current like the salmon, swimming upriver.
Right.
And so part of the awareness applicable in the immediate is that we understand what goes around comes around. We
Do-
understand that. And
yeah.
that's another place to really hold ourselves to that central place, because when we get to the other side and we gain that level of awareness that we're speaking of, no one's going to be able to look at anyone else and say, I told you so.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about true humility, integrity, nobility, innocence, and I believe maybe the biggest thing that we're coming into is the power of innocence. Like it has no meaning close to what we came from. That statement. It's something that's just huge. Like it's like fountains blowing up. Like cosmic, creations just forming. Universes forming. I mean, our innocence is real. It's real, and it's the root of love. It's the root of our power.
And it makes me feel so free to think about,
Mm,
and
yeah,
be able to get into that freedom is that was my goal, to feel free.
yeah,
And it's an inside job, obviously, right? And that innocence, it is there.
yeah.
To kind of take, I don't know, I still listen to the trees, and I
Mm,
sometimes listen to, somebody mentioned how easy it is to speak to Master Jesus, even if you call him Yeshua or Sananda, or you call him grandfather, like I do. When I speak to my grandpa, I feel that love.
mm,
I speak to those that assist me. Or maybe do I just speak to my higher selves? Do I speak to mother? Do I speak to earth? Do I speak to a tree? Yeah, because it's still super interesting to me.
yeah.
And one day, will I not do that? I don't know.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the you, me, we, and it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I mean, um, I used to do this meditation back in my early 20s, and it was by a guy named Emmett Fox, who was I think he was a Protestant minister, but he was a kind of like a metaphysical guy. In fact,
Hmm.
that was the first guy I ever read that kind of married the religion and metaphysics. But he had this meditation. I used to do it in the bathtub, but it was called the Golden Key.
Hmm.
And so what it was basically, and I've done this probably daily in my own way over the years, in short versions, just quick as you're laying down going to bed. And so I would get into the bathtub, have water, take a bath, and start with my body as the whole. And then the water becomes part of it, and then the tub, and then the room. And so I can relate to what you're saying absolutely 100%. And I can see that I have a greater awareness and a greater connection with these things deemed external because I've had it too many times. Let's just take the last 2 or 3 months with this house I'm in, with these two cats that I'm caring for, with people where I'm seeing myself as the mirror,
Hmm.
um, with nature, huge. Like that's been huge to me. And with a few paranormal things, you know, that kind of accentuate things. But yeah, to me, I can sit at the bay and it can be the waves, It can be the birds, it can be the clouds, it can be the little coral island, the colors that are coming in. Yeah. The sun has been huge for me.
Absolutely. And the new colors.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's just a wonderful time to be alive.
Yeah. Well, we came this far. Why go back now?
Yeah.
You have anything coming up uh, your podcast or your sessions that you do?
I do. Tonight in at 7 Eastern,
Mm.
I have what have I done with it now? I have tonight it's called the Kit Kat Lounge in honor of Lionsgate. I've been doing this blowout. So they told me to put the two last ones together because we're going into the eclipse stuff support. Spirit told me to do some support people in some
What
way.
the, what the, wait, wait a minute. I just got a little, all the hairs on my back just stood up and there's a lot of them. But what day is, what day is the eclipse? I just want to mentally prepare. Do you know?
Oh, I don't know. It's in September. It's not
Oh, it's in September. Okay. Okay, cool.
it's not
So
yeah.
it's a new moon. Okay. Okay, got you.
It's over there somewhere. I haven't even looked. All I know is some of my astrologer friends
Well,
think,
if they're telling you to put them together now,
yeah. So they're
I
telling me
think that speaks for itself.
we're gonna blow it out. So it's called Riptide and the other one. And so it's basically me giving like that much because who wants to hear me? Nyeh, nyeh, nyeh. They just don't. What they want is the coding, and I
Right.
offer coding as a flashlight. You take the coding in or you don't. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's
Right.
up. And so what'll happen is they'll say, "I feel this way," and then at the end they'll go, "I feel a lot better," and I'm like, "Yeah," because to be able to give something away always makes me feel really good.
Right.
My class on Sunday, this one's called Reclamation, the Myth of Judgment. So I don't know what any of this means. They gave it to me about a month prior, and then son of a gun, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Channel it in on the day. But my little thing I said today was it's let's do the timeline warp again.
The what?
Okay, do you know Rocky Horror, that movie?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Let's do the time warp again.
Yes. Yeah.
What they showed me was let's do the timeline line warp again. So when I do my work, if you feel this in your field when I'm working on you, it means you're compressing those timelines and working
Mm.
through. Because what's been happening with people lately is this non-sleep stuff, not
Yeah.
being able to sleep because of the Schumann being up so high.
Or waking up at 4:44 3 days in a row.
Yeah, yeah.
During the
Um,
height of it all.
Yeah. And so if that happens, sometimes you don't get all that. And so once a week, I figured I'll help people do whatever they need to do and they can, whatever. And I still like doing it. So I'm still doing it. So I hope to see you guys. That's free tonight at
So
7.
you're doing these on your Facebook page, right?
Yeah, I just do them on Facebook, which I'd love to. And then my husband sends it over to YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
So right now, I mean, there's got to be other places for me. I mean, Facebook is getting
You
a little,
you should well yeah, we got to, we'll get there.
yeah.
I agree with you. Uh you should get him to put the links on the comments of this video,
Oh, I will.
and then I'll copy and put them on the YouTube and the X.
Thanks, and I really appreciate you. Sometimes I think about sharing my info on your page because some people actually know through Soulogy, so they come and see the free stuff. And then in September, I'm going to be doing Art 1, 2, and 3, which is Art of Your Energy class 1, 2, and 3. It's
Mm.
8 hours of energy work, which will kick your butt, but you'll then know how to use my system. It's called the Art of Your Energy. This is just my little card deck with B on it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you just look at marybeckman.com. That's all my info. Yeah, I'm still
It's
doing it.
Mary Beckman with an I,
Yeah,
by the way.
MBRI. Am I always going to do that? Am I going to go prune lettuce for the Amish? I don't know. I'm keeping it all open.
Well, all I got to say is if you're anywhere near the Amish, that's probably one of the big power points on the earth.
It's a
Because
PowerPoint.
you know what I mean? Because regardless of what their path up the mountain is, you know what I mean? They walk the talk. I mean, like it's amazing. The thing like the work that they've done in these disasters. I was watching a video the other day that the disaster was over a year old, and the Amish were still there. They'd been there for a year. In my mom's house, when she got flooded out in a hurricane, the Amish came down, or I think it was the Mormons. And, like you said, there's a common thread in everything, and you see the same characteristics or the same demographic makeup in everything, really, energetic makeup in every single group. Well, cool. Thank you so much. It was good seeing you. I really appreciate you. I appreciate the work that you do and your friendship and connection, both you and your husband. Um,
Absolutely, dear. I'm really, really happy to be with you, although I do dream about you sometimes and I see you in my photos. So you're around.
I'm there. I'm there.